Hi, Adrian Fryer here, True Fit Professional. What I want to talk to you today about is about hinging in plane. With this feature, we want to talk about how the wrists hinge in the backswing and what's probably the best way to get that most efficient blow on the ball. You can see from the pictures of Tiger Woods and even Arnold Palmer and players dating back into the 60s, 70s and so on, that they all had this characteristic in their swing. Well, assuming you've got a correct grip, when we hinge in plane, it means that the attitude of the shaft, the wrist and the club face all match up here towards the top of the swing. So, if we accept that we play golf on an angle with tools that are designed for the job, so a 6-iron sits like so and a driver a little flatter and so on, this is what we call the original shaft plane, is that ideally when we swing back, what we're trying to do is move the club up this plane and keeping it in a relationship to it here, and you'll notice now as I'm hinging back my left wrist is nice and flat and the club face orientation matches that. My right wrist is folded and this allows me to pop the club on this correct angle. When we start getting out of plane with the wrists, we might have this appearance where the left wrist has collapsed or cupped too much. The club's going offline here, and you can also see the face is open now. Conversely, we could shut the face. You can see my left wrist now is arched, my right wrist is folded back too much, and the club face is now closed or looking to the sky. Now, it's not impossible to play golf at those positions. Indeed, some top players are quite successful, but what they have is compensating errors. For example, current player Dustin Johnson at the moment has a very arched position at the top of his backswing here. His left wrist is bent like so, the club face is very closed. But his compensating errors, he drives very hard with his body, so it outraces the club face, and then his shoulders tilt underneath here, which allows him to hold the club face down the line. If he had a traditional release, he'd be hooking the ball all the time. So he's got two wrongs making a right. Other players over the years, Fred Couples or Bernard Langer, they were players who had a very strong grip, way over here. So if they hinged in plane, their club face would be very closed. So what they did was cup their wrists at the top. They softened the left wrist, which neutralised the face. So they had two wrongs again, making a right. Don't forget, the whole purpose of the game is to ultimately consistently return this club face square. So how can you get the feel of this? Well, at home you can practice by putting the club up in front of you, forming your grip. This is nice and flat. Then if you tilt forwards and turn, this gives you the feeling. So if I do that again here, tilt forward and turn, you can see this is nice and flat. Other things you can do even without a golf club, if you use good old yellow pages, or I have a sponge here, or even a book, is if you hold it between the two hands, form your address position, swing back and fold. Again, notice how my right wrist is folded. They call this the waiter's tray or the martini advert. My elbow's down and my left wrist is hinged nice and flat. So here, with those drills, I'm getting the feeling of hinging in plane. I'm not too upright, too flat, too under. What this allows is my body to unwind and rotate, drop the club in a powerful slot. I've retained my leverage, and it's much easier for me to square that club face up at impact. So give that a try, practice that at home and on the range. Hopefully that'll help you improve with your power and accuracy.